How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? In today's video, we're going to be taking care of the front sway bars on the 300ZX twin turbo. It's you and I. So guys, the first thing that you got to do is break loose on those lug nuts, because the tires are going to have to come off. Then we're going to jack up the car and get on to the next step. I figure you guys didn't need a how-to on, how to get lug nuts loose and possibly off, or getting the car in the air. I have just a jack and some jack stands, as well as my other Z is on jack stands right now, waiting for this one to get done. So after that, go ahead and take off your wheels, and then we're gonna get to work underneath the car to get the sway bar and the end links on the car. So before we go ahead and start removing it at the end links, we're going to remove this plastic piece underneath the car so that we can get to the sway bar, which you can see that's right there. Get to all that stuff and get it off, and get to the next part, which is then removing the end links off of that and the sway bar. So let's get to that, let's get that done and move on to the next step. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we got the tire off, and now we have a better look at the front sway bar. You can see part of it right there, and it goes back into the end link that's back here. So what we need to do is get those end links off so that we can put the new ones on and get rid of this old sway bar and get the new one on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break out these bolts right here and start getting this sway bar apart. So the next job is to get these two bolts off, the one that's there and the one that's up here, to get this little end link off. And then after that, the next part is to get the bushing part over here off of, if I can get my camera set right on it, up there, to get the bushing off. That side will be able to come off. On this side, we'll do the same on the other side and get it done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got the end link out. So now it's time to move on to the other side, which you guys don't really need to see because it's the same exact process. Then we're gonna take off the sway bar right after that, get the new one on, and put some grease on it and tighten it back up. So we're back to the driver's side, and those two bolts have to come off to get that bushing off, if we can focus in on it, so that we can get this sway bar out and get the brand new one in. You can see as it goes along. I got the other side off, and there's two just bushings, or one bushing just like that one right at the end. Sorry about my shaking as well. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It is out and it's ready for the new one, which I did go with the ST suspensions one. So Suspension Techniques, new front sway bar, and I did the rear sway bar as well in the same brand. It came with bushings and everything I needed. So I also did the SPL end links. They did not have the rear end links, so I had to go Power Tricks, but they're a pretty good brand. But we'll get that thrown on the front one tonight, and probably wait until tomorrow to do the rear end links and sway bar for you guys. So as you can see, it comes with new bushings. However, it does not come with new bolts, so we got to reuse the same bolts. It also comes with some lithium lube, which we'll use on those so that there's not too much squeaking and grinding, which will make it quiet. So let's open those up, get them on the new sway bar, and let's work on getting it in the car. To show you this before I go and throw it on and do the get all the grease and whatnot lined up. Just wanted to show you the difference between these two. This thing is really light. This is the original one. I can just like lift that up, no problem. This one is a little bit more stiff, a little bit more heavy, which I think is going to make for a really good ride on this car. So what we'll do is we're going to grease up the new bracket bushings and get them onto where they need to go, right about where they came off of on the original ones, and go ahead and start tossing this thing on. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the bushing for one of the sides. Comes with this nice fancy grease. So we're gonna load this thing up with some grease and get it on the car. We're gonna use about half on here, get a nice lubed up so that it definitely stays and does not squeak. My brother did this on his, when he did it as well, and he just recommends a lot of grease when we do it. Just make sure you get it all in there. Probably a good idea to wear gloves when you do this. As you can see, it comes out, it's kind of greasy, but just get it all around. Make sure you really have no dry spots and just lube it up really nice. Just make sure that you have it nice and greased up, because then it's going to go onto your greased outside just a little bit, just to keep it from squeaking. I'm going to do it out here where the metal bracket goes as well, just in case. So just in case, I did it on the outside as well. Just got it nice and greased up. So we're gonna do it in the same orientation as the original one. So let me get the greased up one out and onto the bar. Gonna try and do this one hand. It's gonna be kind of tough. There we go. Come on. Come on. There you go. All right. So that is on to where it needs to go, and then we just slide the bracket right up on there. How greasy that is, I do not think that is gonna squeak or do anything. We're gonna knock it out for the other side, and then we're gonna work on getting it into the car. So I got the bar in. It was a two-person job. I wasn't strong enough or have the patience to get it in on my own. I got the bolts started and tightened down and then torqued them to spec. You can see right here that it is going to bow out a little bit. This is to the 18 pound-foot that the manufacturer of the bar states. So I guess maybe I put it a little close on this side. Could push it back a little bit. Then I put in the new sway bar links, didn't tighten them down yet. I just got them in there so that I had something to put into it. As you can kind of see, I put it on the closest hole, so it's going to be as stiff, which says it promotes a little bit more of understeer rather than oversteer, which, I mean, I'm not really driving Maniac level yet or track level yet, so that should be good to go. Now the side was pretty easy. Just getting these bolts started was kind of a pain in the butt. So next step is just getting the end links torqued down to spec, and we're pretty much done. So here we go. So now the end links are all torqued to spec and ready to go. So all I need to do now is tighten down those little bolts to make sure that they don't go crazy in there, and then put on the undershroud, and this job is done. All right, that will do it for today's video. I appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. The giveaway is still coming. As for this project, I just want to get into it. Not too many difficult things to do on this job. Make sure you lube up the bushings real well to make sure they work and don't squeak. The squeaking, I've heard, is really bad. If it does, I've never had that, thankfully. This was my first time doing this job, actually, to be honest. Wasn't too hard. I'm not the greatest mechanic, technical person with their hands, and I was able to do it pretty easily. It is a two-person job just to get the new sway bar into position. Tools, as you saw, all I needed really was a 10mm, a 14mm socket, short and long, a couple extensions, and a ratchet. I also used a breaker bar, which I just used the end, not a breaker bar, I'm sorry, just a bar that I used from the top of the jack that I have, which worked out amazing. It's got a handle on it and everything, so it makes it nice and easy to pull on it. But I would say the job's pretty easy. I think anybody could probably handle it who knows how to work a wrench. You do need a torque wrench. That's important, torquing everything down to spec that the manufacturer of the parts has. So not a hard job. I think it's pretty easy. I did not put the tires and rims back on just yet. The tension rods on the bottom, the bushings looked old, breaking apart. So I decided what I'm going to do is I bought new ones from Z1. So I did the adjustable one so I can play with the camber and whatnot a little bit. But those should be coming in tomorrow. Next job, though, is to do the back end of the car. That one's a little bit tougher because I got to move the exhaust a little bit. So I'm going to work on getting that done tomorrow and having that video posted for you guys. Again, I appreciate everything you guys do, liking, subscribing, and all of that, and watching the videos. It's much appreciated. You guys have a wonderful day. Be safe out there, and if you need anything, comment below. If you need parts, I know where to get some, and I have some parts that are still for sale. So hit me up if you need anything.